Hi everyone and welcome to Positively Kimmie. I am Kimmie. If you are new here, welcome. This is a safe space. And if you're one of my return subscribers and my besties, hi guys, how are you? I hope you're all having an amazing day. Welcome to What's Up Wednesday, where I tell you a little bit about my life and what's going on so you get to know me, my triumphs, my struggles a little bit better. And if you leave me a comment, I get to know you a little bit better and we develop these friendships and you become one of my besties, and I love that. I think that's awesome. So having said that, there's been a lot that's going on this week. The first thing I want to address are the bruises on my arms. They are really nasty. One day last week, I was having severe joint pain, especially in my neck and my upper back. And they had switched my pain medications, which I am on, because they didn't have the ones I had in stock. And they switched me to something that is supposedly comparable, but actually lower and doesn't help as much, so you need more of it. And I was not getting any relief, and now I know what kind of relief I get from my pain medication, because this was absolutely ridiculous. I was in such bad pain for like 4 days, and I couldn't handle it. I felt like I was going to put my head through a wall. I have also CRPS, which is complex regional pain syndrome, and I get that in this arm where you can see it's all inflamed and it's more swollen than this arm. And that's what happens, and it's considered the most painful disease known to man, other than childbirth, or like right up there with childbirth, without an epidural, of course. And it's also known as the suicide disease, because it's when you get a flare, it's horrible. And last week I had gotten a flare for about 5 to 7 days, and between that, my neck, and just everything, it was horrible. And I called up my doctor's office and I said, can I please come in for some epidural injections? And his regular secretary wasn't there, so they said no, he was booked. I called up the next day, not wanting to be a pest, but to see if there was a cancellation, because I was just so bad. And they said no, his regular secretary is not here, he can't see you. So I decided to go up to the emergency room. I am a very hard stick, so they put one in here, and then they did one with a sonogram over here. And thankfully I didn't need to be admitted or anything. And the next day, the third day, they called me up and they said, oh, the doctor said, the secretary called, she's like, how are you feeling? And I said, this is the worst pain I've been in a very long time. And she's like, well, why don't you do me a favor and come up here by 12? And I think at that time it was like 10 o'clock. And I was like, that is perfect. If you told me to be there in 10 minutes, my tushy will get there in 10 minutes, because I was really, really not doing well. And they gave me some trigger point injections. He reordered my medication, which they had in stock. And within 2 days, I felt 1,000% better. But in the meantime, when I was at the ER, they had to give me 2 milligrams of Dilaudid, and they gave me Reglan because I had tummy issues, and I was very nauseous as well, and that was from the severity of the pain. So between those two things, I was able to get back on my feet, and I'm feeling better now, except my breathing. I'm having a really hard time breathing the last 2 days. Now, I don't know if any of you have asthma. I do. I just took my rescue inhaler a minute ago. But have you noticed that since the temperature has dropped, you're having a harder time breathing? Because I always thought if the temperature dropped, it would be easier because you're getting in cold air and it's going into your lungs. In my case, that's not happening. I take air in, but I can't expel it, is what they tell me with my asthma. But I don't feel like I'm getting it in, and my chest feels very heavy. So I've been taking prednisone the last 2 days. So we already know how I'm going to do on Friday, because prednisone just makes you gain weight, but it's not that much that should make a difference. And I'm just having a really difficult time with the breathing at the moment. Excuse me. And I'll give you another health update, which would be for my sister. Thank you for the prayers and the comments and the text messages from everybody who has sent prayers for my sister. She has an open wound on the bottom of her right boob, and it's literally this big by this big, and it's open, and she has MRSA, which is a very serious type of infection, and they're treating her with high doses of antibiotics, and it's so frustrating. She's been in the hospital for 2 days, and it is so frustrating because they're sending her home tomorrow, even though she's on IV antibiotics, IV pain medication, IV everything. They're going to probably switch her to oral antibiotics tonight, and then they'll send her home tomorrow. And the reason for this, in my opinion, is insurance companies. This is a channel about positivity, and I haven't gotten to the positive part yet, but I promise it's coming. But it's very frustrating, and they don't want to do a skin graft or cover the wound. She needs wound care at home, but they don't want to cover the wound even with like gauze or anything, because they want it to all come out. And hopefully when it does, she won't be in the pain that she's having, and hopefully these antibiotics will really help, and it will close on its own, is what they're hoping, and that it's not going to be a surgical procedure. With that being said, I have some good news. We had some snow in New York. Now, for a lot of you, that's not good news, because I know about the blizzards. I know I was speaking to one of my subscribers who is awesome, and she was saying it felt like it was 59 degrees, but no, negative 59 degrees where she lived, and it was negative 27. Who knows what negative 60 feels like? I'm just curious how they determine that. Like I told you guys this last year, I don't understand how people determine a negative number, or even a negative number. Like, how do you know it feels like negative 60? Who they stick out there and they say, oh yeah, that's negative 60 right there. Like, I don't understand that. But anyway, so we had about 2 inches of snow in New York yesterday. But tonight the temperature is in the 20s, so everything is going to freeze. And where I live, they did a lousy job of like plowing and stuff like that. The plowing, whatever, I get that. But the walkways, I have problems with balance. My mom had to cancel a doctor's appointment today, and it's just a sheet of ice outside, and I know a lot of you know what that's like, and they're dealing with that, and I'm so sorry for those of you who are snowed in. I am praying for all of you everywhere across the country, because it doesn't seem to matter where you live at this point. The weather is just going loco at the moment, and we're supposed to get more snow on Friday, I believe, but I don't know how much we're getting. But I know the temperature on Saturday is supposed to be 15 degrees here in New York, which for some of you, that would be like sunbathing at this point. But anyway, so the point I was getting to was when my grandson went to go to school today, he saw snow for the first time, and it was on the ground and on the sidewalk, and he was the cutest little thing. If I have a picture where it doesn't really show his face too well, I will insert it like right around here somewhere, because he was just so happy and didn't know what to make of it, and he just kept running up and down, and just, he's like, snow, because mom told him what it was, and he's like, no, and she's like, snow, and then he's looking at the car, he's like, car, no, and she's like, yeah, there's snow on the car, and, he's 21 months now, 23 months now, oh my God, he'll be 23 months on the 22nd next year, February will be his 2nd birthday. And he was just so enamored by the snow. And I thought that was amazing, because when you see something through your grandchild's eyes for the first time, or any child's eyes for the first time that they're experiencing for the first time, you're experiencing it with them, and you just have that awe. And that was just absolutely amazing to see that. So he saw snow for the first time. He got to get his gloves wet, and it was really very precious. And I hope all of you experience that, with either your own children or your grandchildren sometime in your life, because it's just the most incredible thing when you see the joy that comes across their face from seeing something and experiencing something they've never done or seen before. It's absolutely incredible. And the last thing I want to get to is I am doing the vision board. I'm just collecting magazines to cut some words out of them and things like that. So that will be coming soon. I'm hoping I'll be able to get to it next week. So I have the cardboard right next to me, and have my stickers, but I'd like to get some words out of magazines and some pictures and stuff. So that's all I'm waiting for on that, and I will show you how I do that and maybe help some of you do that also. I also do manifesting, where I write down what I'm hoping happens, that the universe can bring me, and I thank the universe for giving me those gifts. And I have a book sitting right next to me, my journal sitting right next to me, and I think it's really good to write down what you're grateful for every day. You know, even if it's just one or two things. You know, you woke up. That is a thing to be grateful for. You know, you took a shower, grateful. You know, you were able to cook dinner. You know, you had food in the fridge, you have clothes in your closet, you have a place you can live. Those are all things to be grateful for. Please don't ever take them for granted, because they can be taken away so easily. And don't want this to be preachy or anything like that, but you know, what you put out there into the universe does it truly come back to you. So put positivity out there always. And with that being said, be happy, be healthy, be blessed, and most of all, be positively you, because I don't know. And most of all, be positively you, because there's nobody else quite like you, and that makes me so incredibly happy. Sorry that I lost my train of thought. I just thinking about my grandson in the snow, so I apologize for that. You guys rock.